Hello, welcome to Moose Teeth's channel. So today we're going to show you a little quick slide. It's going to be a quick video. It's all about Alaska. That's what I like to call it. We're going to try to start a series all about Alaska, AAA. And it's a short grab bag of details on the big bad north. So here we have an Anchorage, middle of Anchorage, they come down, these moose come down. It's a young bull. You can tell, a good way to tell, see this, dangly. I think it's ungulate is what they call this. It's just like a little throat waddle like roosters have and stuff. But you can tell, see his horns. He's just a little guy. He has paddles. He doesn't even have big ones yet. So they come down here in the middle of winter to chew on the willows, or so life's just easier. Look how much snow he's standing in. He's only ankle deep instead of knee deep, and it takes a lot of energy for these guys to get around. But they're really hardy animals, and I give them props for coming down in the middle of the city to survive, because the mountains push them out. It gets nasty up there when the winter hits. So here's a couple interesting things. Here's our population. Everybody thinks we're huge. Well, we are big, but we don't have 1 million people here yet, and I know once we hit 1 million people, we'll have a lot more things getting built here. Maybe even a big stadium, or maybe we could get a sports team. Who knows? But yeah, this is our population, and invitations to add more to this, please. And oh, by the way, we do not get free money. And I'm sick and tired of people saying we get free money. We get dividends, okay? That dividend means the oil company goes up there and they drill so much oil, it's like a tax return. It's an extra tax return. It's the oil company's tax return, I believe, and they pay us because everyone has mineral rights here. So anybody can technically go and look for oil, but BP or not, I don't even think they're around anymore, but Conoco and some other that's Conoco is really the only one I know, but there's some other guys up in here, a couple crews working up in here drilling oil. They just take so much that we get a kickback from it. We are a fifth the size of the USA with about 664 miles of coastline, and as you can see, look, so she right here on this flat line, it would be hooked up to Canada, and the rest is just coast. All this is just coastline. All the Aleutian Islands, all the way out there is part of us. And if you look under those maps that show you underwater, it shows Alaska's even bigger than this. It comes out like that. She used to be big. And it didn't look so much like this either. It looked a little different, which is pretty cool. And so what I like to mention is we have no poison ivy. So when I was in the States, I absolutely hated poison ivy. It was the worst I ran into. But now we have Devil's Club, and I can take this a lot better than poison ivy. These hurt. They got some big barbs in them, and they're real they're real flexible. So they're like hairs, but they're really sharp. So don't go grabbing these. I have grabbed one by accident. You can get them out, and you'll know they'll start making pimples or little boils, and but this is very medicinal. The bears like to eat these red berries up here. I don't see them much with these red berries, probably because the bears are eating on them. And this whole plant here, it's almost like Tylenol, I believe, is what they describe it as. But the Native Americans actually figured this out. And the soil that Devil's Club grows in is very, very potent soil. So here we're going to go back. Yeah, we're going to back. Here's a perfect example of the ranges you can visit by public road. So with all that coastline, there's got to be road. There's not coastline along or roads along the whole coastline. We're just dealing with this is, I believe, on the way down to Kenai. I want to say, I forgot what this pole meant. But here it's just mountains for days, and I love it. There's probably so much valuable minerals and materials up in these mountains that we'll probably never touch because it's just impenetrable by heavy equipment and semi trucks. Here, look at this one, just huge. That's not clouds. That's the clouds. There's the base of the mountain. The mountain goes like this, comes down like that, It goes up like this, and she jags up a little bit. It goes down to another valley. So it's like here, like if you were to drop a ton of water, it all come out through here, in theory. But look at all this forest too. Like look at that. You can't. It's hard to find this. So why do we care? Well, we have 375 million acres to play with up here, and 740,000 people or so, give or take. So we have lots of forestry jobs. There's logging. There's fire department. The wildfires. They take those pretty serious after those two bad fires we had, and that's from not managing our forests and letting teenagers do stupid shit. And the people that burned that down made a stupid mistake that cost a lot of people their homes. And I believe it killed a few people. The smoke was bad all summer long. You're wheezing. It felt like crap. What I mean by we must expand and manage wildlife is, so when we expand, we don't have to cut down our forests, but we can manage them. Like you seen in the previous slide, town was right there in the middle of all those trees. One of these days, I will get you guys a picture of what it looks like from the top of the mountain in Anchorage, and even Anchorage is still just tons of trees. So I expanding is fine as long as you manage the wildlife. And what I mean by that is, there's a wolf in my yard, shoot them all dead. It's okay, there's wolves in my yard. What do? Well, you send a trapper in there and he takes care of them. Wolves know when other wolves die. They either leave or they go. I haven't, most trappers have told me you kill one wolf, they usually move away. And especially if you trap them, because then half the time they'll eat it. And then they know that something went wrong. They're very weird. But managing it just means like work around the wildlife. So another thing we do here is we cut the trees down 50, 60 feet back from the sides of the road. So you have plenty of time to usually to see a moose come out of the woods, and it kind of gives them a border to play in and, kind of leave us alone. And they're just, they're pretty smart. They know when to cross the road. It's usually people on their phones or something that hit them. With all these rivers here, we have to be careful of not putting natural gas over them, because a lot of salmon, if any salmon trickle up that stream, they do not want to put gas or any kind of lines across that river. So usually if you live on top of a mountain or over the river through the woods, you'll have to deal with getting a diesel truck or diesel tank, and you fill it up yourself, or firewood. We have 3 million lakes, so I'm never bored when I go ice fishing. Stay occupied all year. Literally, me and my friends, we get bored in one lake, I go to the next lake, 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 go to the next, until we find the one that's wherever the fish are acting nuts at. Look up Big Lake on Alaska, Google Maps, and you'll just see it. Look at all those mountain lakes, and that's a cool thing up here is the mountain lakes. I love those. There's usually char and lake trout in them, and and you're like mountain peaks all around you, and you're just like in a little or not ball, but bowl, and everywhere around you is just giant mountain. So we have 224 recognized tribes. So that just means, I think it's like crow, dog, salmon. That's a Tlingit tribe. And then there's I'm trying to remember what grandma is. I can't remember what grandma is, but grandpa's crow and salmon and dog salmon. But they all have, their territories, their their corporations, their spokespeople and everything. Pretty cool stuff. Go see them do their dances and traditions and potlucks, and if you're into that kind of stuff, there's plenty of native art and crafts up here that they love to give around. And you're gonna have to spend a couple bucks, if you get like a little like they make mosquitoes out of walrus whiskers, and so those are about $100, and they're about 5 inches long. But it's pretty cool actually, because it's like ivory. They have about 20 languages here, which is, for 224, that's not really a lot. So that just means, like, look, like their language is probably intertwined with another tribe's language that they don't care for. Just because way back then, somebody split from one village and made their own language and way, and who knows. And we have 20 of the highest peaks in the USA, which I thought was awesome. So we got tons and tons of mountains if you're into hiking and all that stuff. I don't hike unless I have a fishing pole or a gun, though. Here we go. Here's a fishing spot. This is where you go salmon fishing. Up in here, this is any of the locals will know where this spot is. And they'll either say it's a trash heap or it's fun. And you just got to figure out how to. Drift fishing is the best way, honestly. I like to do it here. But here you can see in the back, look how big that moose is. And there's her baby. That's probably a newborn baby, too. Only probably 2-3 months old. He's pretty big. Can't really compare him to actual cows because they're kind of built way different. Just think of like a horse and a deer mixture, and they're delicious. They're the most. I don't like eating beef after you eat moose. I could care less for salmon. I've eaten so much of it. But here's a nice king my grandfather caught a few years back. Pretty beefy. I think that's his fishing pole right there. Oh boy. So they're saying we've only had 66 bear attacks from 2000 to 2017. And I'll tell you what, there's a lot more idiots in this. I don't feel like this is accurate. I only bring attention to this is because somebody that wasn't from here not too long ago asked if bears eat people. Yes, they eat people. They're not above it, dude. They eat out of trash cans. What do you think is going to be easier? Eating fat, slow dude or breaking a trash can open? Depends on, I guess it really depends on the attitude of the bear. But I've seen some really skinny bears, and if skinny bear is a scary bear because they're hungry. We have 30,000 brown bears. That's brown bears, not black bears. That's brown bears here. So that's a pretty decent number for such a big animal and how much area to themselves they have. And the mothers are pretty good mothers up here. I've never seen a dead baby bear. I hear about it, but males eat the babies to get the mother back in heat. Even his own children. It's kind of like pretty cruel. The average Kodiak brown bear weighs about 1 ton and it stands 10 feet tall from bottom of the feet to the top of its head. And think about a Toyota on its back hind feet slapping at you. And that's going to be you if you piss the bear off. Honestly, I don't care for bear spray. It's a good thing. And do not buy bear bells. Do not buy bear bells. They do not help. All they do is let the bears know where dinner is. I swear to God, they will not help you. I've never seen or heard anybody using a bear bell. Actually, I've heard of somebody using a bear bell, and then all of a sudden, their party of 6 or 7 people, little black bear comes out and see what's going on because they're curious. But little black bear will follow you, a quarter mile through the woods. You won't even know. For such a big animal, that's a ninja. That's Alaska Ninja right here. And then you got these pests. Bald eagles. Constantly eating kitties and dogs and just being patriotic pricks. Doing their own thing. But I believe this is that same spot where we've seen the baby moose and her mother. But it's just up in the tree line. This side, it's just a cold snap. This side is a fresh snow. Nice fluffy snow. Got a good bit. Sticking on the trees about 2 inches. Murder on their mind. So this is a report from 2018, the FBI report. There was a murder every 7 days with 47 total. So yeah, I believe, yeah, that's sad, man. There's a lot of, and there was years before that were rougher than that. There was a violent crime every hour, leading up to 4,377 total violent crimes. And those are the ones that were reported and probably caught. And, who knows what goes on here. I've seen some horrible... coming up here sometimes makes me question where the hell humanity went. I don't think it ever really was here. This place has been built off crime and hard work, and just like Australia, a bunch of tough bastards living up here. Uh, People like to steal, so don't leave anything everywhere. You have a bike at an apartment, you walk the bike up here. Bikes are a huge theft problem right now because all the bums snag them. Uh, and people are tons of drug addicts here, so that's main. I bet you almost every single one of these was from a drug addict stealing petty crap, and they will steal the pettiest basketballs, shoes off your it doesn't matter, they will steal it. um, and that's just like if you live in like a sketchy area. I mean, like, that's not everywhere. Like, you can go live in BFE Palmer, and just live out one of those roads, and you still deal with it, but like, you'll probably get shot. You walk on the wrong yard, and it's not like you walk into their yard and they're just gonna blast you. They're gonna be like, "Hey, who the hell are you?" with a gun in their hands. And if you're violent, you get shot. And if you're not, and it was a mistake, they'll let you off their property. But I've had people hold guns to me, and you don't even know it's anybody's property, and half the time it's not, because they're lying. They just don't want you there. Um, 2019, we had 69 murders here, man. Like, come on. Like, I don't understand why we have to gut each other over, crack rock, but to each their own. We had 4,360 assaults. Look at that. We actually went down a couple, about 17. Uh, that's probably because these 17 were sitting in jail. But yeah, they kind of let asshats go out. The prison and system and the justice system over in Palmer, they're all related to each other. They're all married, or they're cousins, or they're step siblings, and they all just work together to. It's a revolving door over there. The more money they make, and they don't make money is the thing. Is these drug addicts don't pay their fees. They don't care. The theft went down actually a little bit, probably because these assholes were still sitting in jail from these, or to keep from adding to these numbers. Who knows? There's quite a bit of kleptos here. And this is the truest statement in this video. Right here. Read it aloud. Read it to your children. Read it to your grandmother and grandfather. Tell them what Anchorage has turned into. Because I swear on my left nut, this is true. This is also very true. And this is true as well. I believe his grave is in Fairbanks. So if you guys don't know what a ptarmigan is, I know a couple states have them. Think of like a woodcock, or like a pheasant. They're about the same intelligence. Actually, pheasant are pretty smart, if they're in the right environment, because they're not naturally from the States. They're from China. Here we go. The jade. Everybody thinks jade only comes from China and crap like that. Well, we're pretty like the Asian influence in Alaska is amazing, because they'll take the jade and they'll make it into pretty things, and we have really pretty green jade up here. It's kind of hard to explain how, without going into a huge geology lesson of why we have jade. But there is a jade mountain here in the Seward Peninsula. So that mountain, that just means like all the veins are full of jade. And a vein is just when a crack in bedrock or a ton of rock or caliche breaks open, and the vein is it, like, think of microscopic steam, even not just full on steam coming out of the ground, or water or liquids and minerals just have to be deposited in a crack, and that's how veins and rocks are made. It's just hundreds of years, thousands of years of like licking an ice cream, except instead of it going away, it adds to it. The forget-me-not flowers, those are little pretty flowers. The pioneers, so the story behind those is that they would take them and then they would put them on their new homes. They would decorate with them, give them to their loved ones. When they started colonizing or pioneering or frontiering up here, it was pretty rough back then. So I could see why these little flowers were like a breath of fresh air when your buddy just got mauled or something and you finally made it. Of course, moose. Tons of moose. I should have put how many moose we have up here, but we have a lot of moose up here. But they're pretty docile animals. Just don't mess with them. Don't get close for pictures and crap like that. They will get really friendly and let you feed them and crap, but we do not want that up here, because moose are. I'm more scared of a moose than I am of a bear. That's how unpredictable they can be. and I've had some bad experience with some moose because I've been walking in town and there's like this one time I was at a church and I was walking past it and right around the corner, face to face with a moose, and we scared each other and we ran the opposite ways. Same with bears. That happened to my coworker. We were painting roads on J Bear, which is a military base down here in Anchorage, and they I guess the guy went around the corner and the bear went around the corner and they like had their backs turned and they were backing up and they like totally bumped into each other and ran the opposite ways. Like it's cartoonish. It was, but that's not who the bear could have turned around and hit him. Who knows? Bowhead whales. If you like whales, I believe we have a ton of pilot whales too, which are those white ones that look like giant dolphins. But yeah, I've seen lots of whales here, and you don't have to pay money to go see them necessarily. You can sit here on the coastlines, and I believe in this spot and up in this area, you can see plenty of whales from the road, and they'll have signs and pull-offs and all sorts of fun stuff to keep you guys entertained. Um, I'm really trying to encourage, like, you don't have to spend a lot of money to have fun here. You can just get in a rental car and drive wherever you want, and and figure something, find something to do. Like I love this area, Soldotna and Kenai area. It's a very only in the summers. In the wintertime, it's depressing and nobody lives there. Well, plenty of people live there. It's just a ghost town. Not it's very tourist dependent. So the whole thing about Wyatt Earp and his little cronies. Wyatt Earp came up here and he came up here and did some gold digging, prospecting. It's either prospecting or mining. I don't know if he was a prospector. He might have just been a miner or both. Um, but gold was, found on banks. Like it was ridiculous. The stories of finding gold here, and it's still like that. I have found pieces of gold just sitting on a rock, tiny pieces, but they didn't get it all. They were stingy. They'd throw little pieces out and take the big pieces. You'll actually find quite a bit of gold in old tailing piles up here. And you can go down to Crow Creek. Down, I think right here, if you see my mouse, is like Crow Creek. It's along the road, and you can go pay to go look for gold. I believe you can march further into their property and go find better gold. But there's plenty of untouched ground there. You just got to know what you're doing, and it takes a lot of research before you make it rich anywhere. So he came up here, and I know his saloon was started in 1901, and then there's a legend that he lost his pistol down there in Juneau, and that's the treasure hunter. One of the treasure hunting stories up here is people are looking for his long lost pistol. I don't know if it was precious metals or something, but who knows what happened to it. He obviously didn't care about it that much. If he didn't find it, I'll lose my pistol. You bet your ass I'm not leaving that spot. But yeah, I believe he's buried up there in Fairbanks, and him and a bunch of I can't remember now, but there's like 3 other famous outlaws that came up here to restart, and they sound like they died peacefully, which is good for them. But there's some quick facts and some opinions on what it is to live up here. I can definitely do more of these videos, but this is just mainly for those people that are new to this. So, a lot of you local guys, I know you'll know this already and you'll probably scoff at it, but people need to know these kinds of things. So, I hope have a good rest of your day. Keep watching these videos. I really appreciate all the views that you guys have given.